There we go.
Hello and welcome to the GTHub podcast. We are on week 5 of this year already. It's hard to believe, really. But
Hello and welcome.
Oh, bother.
to GTHub podcast.
No, never
I'm
mind, that
not
was-
unmuted, aren't I?
No, that was just me being silly. Right, carry on.
Great. Well, now that Josh has ruined the introduction,
Not me for
What-
once.
I was going to say was, on today's show, we have the recap of the Liqui Bathurst 12 Hour, the Formula E race from Santiago, Chile,
Yes.
the finale of the Asian Le Mans series, and bits and bobs of news from various series. And joining me on this recap is a very special guest in the name of one Mr. James Acaster.
Hi.
I think you can tell that's not him, that's actually Rob.
Okay, Rob.
But not from a bush outside Basingstoke train station.
Not yet, anyway.
Yet.
And
God, I need to do that one week. Actually find that bush, sit in it just for the start of recording, and then get the bus home while we're recording.
thank you for taking up 10 seconds of my time there. And
That's
Joshua
okay.
Jones.
Hello.
There we go. Now that we've blundered through this beginning once again, we shall go straight into, as Rob dies, we shall go straight into the Liqui Bathurst 12 Hour, which was basically the biggest thing of the weekend. Yes.
By a mile. Yeah, there were quite a lot of wheels that made a bid for freedom.
Wow, you immediately just went straight into the race, didn't you? Forget all pretense. Yes, let's just barrel straight into the event.
Let's barrel straight into the event and straight into wheels.
Yeah.
Because there weren't enough spare wheels lying around after the race to actually
can I
kit
just
out a
bring
car.
this? Can I bring this back to where I was gonna start, which was the
Yeah, sure, so.
qualifying? You know, the important
Yes,
bit that sets the field and all that.
Oh,
Go on,
yeah,
then.
the top 10 shootout for the Alan Simonson Trophy.
Yes. Oh, now you know what I was gonna do.
Yes, it was, yeah, it looked like a pretty close session. The SRM BMW actually got sent to the back of the grid at the last minute.
Yes, the number 100 BMW Team SRM BMW M6 GT3, which had Philip Eng in it, was initially third in the top 10 shootout order, but was excluded for having an overboost issue, meaning it had to start from the back of the grid. So that elevated the number 55 Straka Mercedes into the top 10 shootout, in which one Mr. Chaz Mostert claimed the Alan Simonson Trophy with the 2:01.934 second lap time, being the only driver to be in the 2:01 second bracket, in the number 43 BMW team Schnitzer M6. Yeah. The rest of the top 10 were the second and third were the Valvoline Gemek Pem Racing Audi R LMSs. Fourth was the first of the AM entries in the 777 Buick Motor Works Lamborghini Gallardo REX. Fifth was the YNA Autosports Scott McLaughlin. Sixth was the Straka Mercedes of Cameron Waters. Seventh was the WRT Audi of Robin Friends. Eighth was the other YNA Autosport McLaren. Ninth was the first Bentley of Stephen Kane. And last was the only Porsche to make it through into the top 10, which was the number 12 Competition Motorsport Porsche of Matt Campbell.
Jolly good. And I also heard that no one got eaten by the circuit in qualifying.
No, and no Skippies were seen on qualifying, but more of Skippy later.
Okie dokie.
Yes.
What I meant was I think it was a relatively clean qualifying session, wasn't it?
Well, unless you count mistakes, but the mistakes that didn't involve destroying the car, then yeah, it was really quick.
You don't normally expect that from Bathurst, so it was good to see, even though I didn't see it because I was busy doing something completely different. But well, aka sleeping. But never mind.
That's not important.
Yeah. Well, when you have exams coming up soon. You... Anyway, carry on.
Yes, as you ramble through like Rob. Yes. Now we can go forward into the race, Rob, which you seem to just so wanting to just do so well.
Yes, it was. I love the start of Bathurst. Starting at 5:45 in the morning, and just seeing the cars, flood headlights on,
Pitch black, yes.
pitch black,
Yeah.
on the mountain. It's a seriously cool sight.
It really is. Just the headlights coming at you, and then the rear lights leaving. Some of them with fewer wheels than they should have had. Yeah, it's an amazing sight.
I mean, there were enough wheels from cars.
Initially.
Some of them might not have been round anymore.
It's just a. Speaking of pitch blackness, someone spun at the beginning, which kind of set the tone for the rest of the race. Really.
Yes, not just at the
that.
beginning. It was before the light even turned to green. Really.
Yeah, the initial green flag lap was under safety car, and it went back under safety car.
Yeah.
Yeah, which kind of signaled the feeling for the rest of the race, really.
This was going to be that the Mercedes E63S AMG was going to be on track doing considerably more laps than some of the cars were.
Nice advertising for Mercedes AMG, though. Their lovely E63S. Yeah, there were lots of safety cars, as we're mentioning, and unfortunately, lots of heavy accidents that were injured several people.
Yeah, there were quite a lot of big incidents during the course of the race. So it was the GAP Solutions car, for example, is actually shown on the preliminary results page as having not completed a single lap.
The GAP... What now?
The number 96 Mark Focus.
Oh, that was withdrawn. That one got... that one had crashed in practice, and... yes. That one was withdrawn. That lineup went to the spare Mark cars, the number 96,
was it?
Number 90... won. No, the number 90, the number 33 entry, I think, was a spare Mark car.
Right,
and
stand corrected.
that wasn't the first withdrawal, which was the first withdrawal went to the Bygent Motorsports
Yes.
Was that-
M4 GT4
Yeah, I was gonna
before
say.
practice 2 even.
That
was
had
the
that
first
fairly
withdrawal
hefty
of the
shunt at
weekend.
the chase with a Mercedes, didn't it?
Yes, but that was a road car that could not be repaired. So the M4 GT4 is actually a road car with a roll cage in it.
Yeah.
That was withdrawn early on before the race even began. There was drama with engine changes for multiple Lamborghinis. The Audis had plentiful amounts of drama beforehand, before the race, with quick rebuilds there. Only for those two teams to be then involved in incidents later on in the race. Yes, which was rather unfortunate for them. I think all the Audi spare parts are missing in Australia now. There might be a shortage of them. They were all used in the one weekend.
Yeah, it did seem to be the Audis, especially, that were getting into quite a few incidents. I noticed. One thing I did notice as well was that the support races were rather clean this year, which is always an eerie sign, actually, because if Bathurst doesn't eat the support race cars, it gets sort of hungry for the actual GT3s, and that's entirely what we saw. And as you said, unfortunately, quite a few drivers getting injured. It's always a bit. Well, there's always going to be accidents at Bathurst, but what you don't expect is the velocity of how big the incidents were. I mean, I think the first one I remember was when a KTM went off and into the wall rather heavily, and that I thought was going to be the biggest one we saw, like the big one as it was, but unfortunately I was mistaken there.
And also, Marcus Winkelhock. What happened to the number 74 Audi? That was his Glenn Seaton moment.
Who's Glenn Seaton and what happened to the 74
Glenn
Audi?
Seaton is Aaron Seaton's dad.
Who's Aaron Seaton?
Legend. One of the drivers in the race, but Glenn Seaton, absolute legend in Australia in V8 supercars. Never won the Bathurst 1000, but I think it was one year in the mid-90s. He was leading the race by a massive margin, and then the engine let go. With, like, really, really close to the end of the race as well. And they actually interviewed him while he was in the car, absolutely distraught at what happened.
That's difficult.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a bit. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that story, actually.
Winkelhock, again, I think he was either first or second at the time in the Valvoline Jamek Pem number 74 Audi. And it was the drivetrain, I think, that let go on that car.
Drive shaft, yeah.
Yeah, it's just stranded him on track, so yeah.
The clouding of the curbs came back to bite the Audi there, right at the end when he really did need a push, but he had a substantial gap over his team car, the number 22 Audi, and, well, sort of broke it on a curb, I think, coming up to McPhillamy Park, which is a place that you don't really want to break a car.
Speaking of breaking cars, Chaz Moster, he copped a large fine for his part.
If you can catch or count 1,000 Aussie dollars as a large fine, that's rather not bothering.
By Bathurst 12-hour standards, a large fine.
It's still not really a large fine.
What incident was this for?
This was the one where one of the Bentleys,
I know the one.
This was the incident
Porsche and another
where Chaz Moster decided to hit the back of the Craft Bamboo car, or Craft Bamboo Porsche, would then go around the outside of said Porsche and going down into the Bentley elbow, which then took out his car, the number 17 Bentley that was in contention for the win, and the number 30 997 Porsche Cup car that they were lapping.
Yeah, big shame.
And the only one who made it out, ironically, was the Craft
Porsche.
Bamboo Porsche. Yes, in a bit of karma there. But yeah, that was the incident caused by overdriving by Chaz Mostert there, who has lots of speed, but just needs to temper it sometimes because he just throws it away. The same thing happened last year too, in last year's race with the Mark GT M6 GT3, the green and gold looking one of last season. But yeah, he's been fined 1,000 Aussie dollars. Well, actually 2,000 Aussie dollars, with 1,000 of them being suspended for some weird reason. But that was a penalty out of that. I guess they figured, see, he took himself out, they couldn't penalize him anymore. So
Yes.
that's what happened with that one. And
Yeah, there was also the accident at the end involving Ash Walsh in the Super Barn Audi number 69, and there was a Mercedes as well. John Martin, I believe, was driving that, and one of the Mark cars
well,
Australia.
before that one of the first incidents of the race that involved was on lap 43, involved Andrew Bagnall in one of the rebuilt Audi R8 LMSs that I had mentioned from earlier.
That was the
number 82 International Motorsport car. He was initially hospitalized after his accident early in the race, but later he was diagnosed with very serious injuries of a broken pelvis and ribs.
Ooh.
Yes.
That's going to take a while to recover from.
And that was not the only hospitalizations. The aforementioned John Martin and Ash Walsh were hospitalized as well, but they are fine as of last report. They were just being checked for neck and head injuries as a precaution.
I have an update. John Martin, check over. Yeah, absolutely A-OK. But probably feeling a bit stiff and sore. Ash Walsh, very sore, very badly bruised, and he had to have surgery on his elbow so that from if I remember correctly, bone and that can actually be put back inside.
Oh dear. Okay, I didn't know
elbow.
about that one, but yeah.
But
all
other
right.
than that, absolutely fine. Just
all right. Okay.
Just pretty tender, to say the least. And he did actually
just a smidge tender. Yes.
Yes, he also actually ended up receiving a trophy as well. In the medical
ironically,
centre.
yes, on
Yes,
the
'cause-
countback of
yes.
the finish, the 69 Audi was credited with winning the Pro-Am.
James
Not
Kondouris.
Pro-Am, the Am Class A results.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was James Kondouris, Theo Kondouris, Ash Walsh, and Duvshan Padehachi, whose name is still considerably shorter than that of the one, the only.
No,
Natavude
we're not
Chowan
doing that.
Sequatana.
Natavude Chowan Sequatani, yes.
I beat you to it.
God damn it. Anyway,
Yes.
well, these two waxed lyrical about some random Taiwanese driver.
He's Thai, not
I mean,
Taiwanese.
Thai driver. Sorry, I did it again. God damn it. We shall get to the end results, which ended up ending the race. The accident involving John Martin and Ash Walsh red flagged the race, 13 minutes short, and as a result of cleanup that could not be done and all the debris, the race ended, which means that the number 37 Audi Sport Team WRT Audi R8 LMS of Robin Frins, Stuart Leonard, and Dries Van Thor won the race overall. And that was Audi's first win at the mountain with the current R8 LMS. So that was an important win for them. And first win for WRT on the mountain, who have confirmed plans to come back for the next 5 or 6 years.
Yes, and a first win for a POM on the mountain.
A POM?
Yeah, that's what the Australians call us over here in British. They call us POMs.
Ah, okay.
Well, who's British in that lineup?
Stuart Leonard.
Of course, yes. Is it really the first win for a British driver there?
In the 12-hour, yeah.
Huh, I did not know that. All right. Well, second in the Class A Pro results, when second overall was the number 75 Mercedes-AMG Team Sun Energy One Racing Mercedes-AMG GT3 of Kenny Hobble, Tristan Vautier, and defending winner Jamie Whincup, and late addition to that lineup Raffaele Marciello. Third in Pro was the number 991 Craft Bamboo Racing Porsche 911 GT3R of Lawrence Van Thor, Kevin Estrella, and Earl Bamber, and also was fifth overall. And the leading Class A Pro-Am car was third overall, and that was the number 540 Black Swan Racing Porsche 911 GT3R of Tim Pappas, Jeroen Bliekmolen, and Lucas Stoltz, and Porsche legend Mark Lieb.
For the win.
Ironically, yes, because apparently they came from nowhere to be there at the end, there or thereabouts, and had fuel mileage played out to the end, the Porsches would have won the race.
That would have been amazing, having a couple of Pro-Am lineups fighting it out for the win.
Well, the number 12 Competition Motorsports Porsche 911 GT3R of David Calvert-Jones, Patrick Long, Matt Campbell, and Alex Davison were very confident that they would have won the race had it lasted for the last 13 minutes, because they were good to go on fuel and no one else around them was.
I think the Black Swan car might have been okay as well.
Well,
But that's questionable.
possibly, but that was questionable as well. But the 12 guys are quite confident they would have won if the race stayed green, or at least stayed under caution, because everyone else would have had to come in and pit. But third in Pro-Am was the number 55 Mercedes-AMG Team Straka Racing Mercedes-AMG GT3 of Nick Leventis, Lewis Williamson, Cameron Waters, and David Fuminelli, who was also seventh overall. And if you haven't caught on by now, Josh, I'm doing it by class because it's easier that way.
Yeah, I know. I'm showing the class here.
Now we move on to... Oh, look at that. You are doing it. Wonderful. We move on to the final Class A result, which were the AMs. And this is quite easy because there were only 3 cars in the race, but only 2 of them made it to the finish. And that was the number 69 Audi Sport Customer Racing Australia Audi R8 LMS of James Konduras, Theo Konduras, Ash Walsh, and Davashin Pariachi, 10th overall. So they did quite well there. Second in the AMs, Class A AM was, and 21st overall was the number 6 Safety Stop. Safety Stop, there we go. Lamborghini Gallardo of Richard Gartner, Hadrian Morel, David Wall, and John Bowe. And not finishing was, as
Sorry.
Rob dies, was the number 3 Audi Sport Customer Racing Australia Audi R LMS of Ash Samadi, Dylan O'Keefe, and Daniel Gaunt. And now we move on to the entirely Porsche Cup class, which is Class B. And
Porsches.
that's what I just said, Porsche Cup class.
I know.
Okay. Porsche for Sith there. Is that what you were doing?
Porsche. Much
That's
Porsche.
what you were doing.
Very
Yes,
Porsche. Much good.
First in Class B was 17th overall, and that was the number 4 Grove Motorsport Porsche GT3 Cup, obviously. Stephen Grove, Brenton Grove, Ben Barker, and a late addition because his car crashed out early in the race, which was Daniel Gaunt. And second, 19th overall, was the number 85 Wall Racing entry of Charles Putman, Charles Espenlaub, and Joe Foster, the American entry there. That's famous for being in the 24H series, and that car will be sold. Actually, it's probably already on sale in Australia because the race is over. So if someone wants a racing car with winning pedigree, buy that Porsche. And finally, third in Class B and 20th overall was the number 21 JFC Carter.
Sorry.
As Rob does something weird. The number 21 JFC Carter Grange entry for Daniel Studdard, Sam Fillmore, and Andrew Fawcett. In Class C, which is all GT4 cars, we have the brilliant and Penta's favorite car, the number 30 Boatworks Racing BMW M4 GT4 of Aaron Seaton, son of Glenn Seaton, the aforementioned, Matt Brabham, the son of Jeff Brabham and grandson of Jack Brabham, and the retiring on top Tony Longhurst, who finished 22nd overall.
Yay.
And the winning car is not being shown on screen, but I shall move on
Oh,
to second.
hold on. Have you? I thought it was still on the Porsche. Okay, right. Is it that car, the number 30?
Yes, the orange BMW.
There it is. Ta-da!
Hold on, it's not coming up on mine yet.
Hang on. There we go. We're in.
Yeah, you'll be on
again,
a slight
everybody.
delay, so that
Oh, ooh, blurry.
shows the
Action
speed.
shot, yes, speed. The speed. Yes, the second in Class C was the in 23rd overall. The number 77 Janetta Australia Janetta G55 GT4 of Mike Simpson, Colby Cowham, and Lindsay Kearns. Third and 24th overall was the number 49 KTM M Sport KTM Crossbow GT4 of Glenwood, Trent Harrison, Cody Hill. Yeah, Tony Longhurst retires on top with a nice trophy. In his last outing in a competitive car. But we'll see if that lasts come this time next year. Yeah. Y'all know people can't stay retired out for that long. And now we come to the final class of the race, which is the Class I Invitational. But basically, it should just be renamed the Mark Cars class.
And Friends.
Yes, Mark Cars and Friends is a brilliant name for Class I. Because there were only 2 entries that weren't Mark Cars, and they weren't on the podium. So there you go.
Yes.
Which brings me to my point, which is the first of the Mark Cars entries is 18th overall, and that is the number 91 Mark Cars Australia Mark II V8, the first of the brand new cars, the blue.
Yay! Gotta love the V8 Mustang.
There we go, the blue one of Keith Kasulke, Rod Salmon, and Will Brown. Second in Class I was also a Mark Cars entry, and 25th overall was the number 93 of Grant Denyer, Tyler Everingham, and Gary Jacobson, this time in a Mark Mazda V8. And third in Class I, 26th overall, was the aforementioned replacement to the withdrawn earlier Mark car, the number 33, Mark Mazda V8 of Rob Thompson, Zane Goddard, and Drew Ridge. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the rundown of the Liqui Bathurst 12-hour for 2018.
Jolly good.
Jolly good.
Jolly good indeed.
Yes.
What is a Mark car? A Mark car is something that is wholly Australian and is almost like a baby supercar in a way.
I'll tell
Or,
you what.
as I'm about to post,
Bloody
an
hell, mate.
Australian copyright ignoring company. There you go.
Eh? I don't understand.
Because they can't make their own cars. They copy everyone else's.
Well, they actually... The chassis is their own car, but they take the body from
Yeah,
another car and
I
put it
understand.
over the chassis. It's like,
Silhouette.
that's why I said it's basically a baby supercar, but slower.
But looks so much cooler.
Probably wouldn't surprise me if some supercars teams are looking at that Mark II car going, that looks pretty good. Maybe we should make our own for supercars. Yeah, but it wouldn't surprise me. Anyway, we shall now move into the second race that happened over the weekend, which was the...
Antofagasta Minerals Santiago E3.
There we go.
That'll do it.
Nicely presented. Well done. That'll do it.
Thank you very
Well
much.
done.
Thank you,
And
thank
I'll
you.
let Rob take this one away because
Hey,
I've been
what?
talking for too long.
So you've been talking for too long, and yet you're going to let the person who sounds like he's half dead do the talking.
Well, I'll let you do the first bit while I get
All
the
right, cool.
results open in front of me. And because, well, you are now, as I introduce you, the aforementioned correspondent for justelectric.com or .org or whatever the website
.org,
is.
yes,
.org.
I'm one of them.
Is it .org or .com?
.org.
.org, there you go.
And there's more than there's 5 people writing for the website. I just want to point that out.
Well, I don't know the other 5 people. I just
Well, you're
know you.
our official Formula E correspondent. There you go.
Yes, that's all that matters. You're our
Yes.
official
And
Formula E correspondent.
history was made in Santiago.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
In what form or fashion?
Techeetah became the first team in Formula E history to actually get a 1-2 finish.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. Yes, that's true. I forgot about
Yes.
that.
Although that was after the absolutely brilliant Super Pole session that saw Sam Bird go backwards into a wall, and Andre Lotterer managed to get as far as turn 1 before crashing, but since his car was relatively undamaged and still moving, he promptly carried on driving
Relatively
round.
undamaged. That's a good way of putting it.
He kept driving round, and he was about half a minute or so slower than the pole position time, but he did manage to qualify 4th due to the fact that he actually managed to complete a lap.
Who was this? Sam Bird?
No,
that
Lotterer.
was, Lotterer.
Sorry, right.
Yeah. But yes, the race got off to an eventful start, shall we say, as Jose Maria Lopez was involved in a bit of an incident.
I tell you what, though.
His car getting stuck in a wall. Mauro Engel was also involved in a completely separate incident, quite literally on the other side of the circuit. So, yeah, the BMW i8 came out.
Yep, as was Nick Heidfeld. I should point out, actually, before that, Nelson Piquet made an absolutely blistering start to go from 5th to 2nd in... Well, it looked like he was going to get the lead initially, down into turn 1. Didn't quite get it, but it looked very much like he would have done. And, well, he certainly would have done if the corner had gone the other direction, but it didn't, so he had to settle for 2nd.
Because there was a nice solid wall in the way.
Which separated the two Techeetahs and made us wonder whether we weren't going to get that historic first 1-2.
Yes. Lotterer overtook Piquet before the pit stop window. Came out behind Verne as well. And then in the last few laps, they met on track with Lotterer actually mounting the rear of Verne's car from behind from the braking zone for turn 2.
That's the correct description for that, yes.
After Piquet had done pretty much exactly the same thing a couple of laps earlier.
Yes. Yes.
Verne was probably getting rather annoyed of the rear end of his car being used as a bus ride.
Yes.
You also forgot to mention one key point about the pit stops, though, Rob.
Yes, there were no minimum pit stop times for this weekend.
Yes, which mean they were athletes for the first time in 3 seasons.
Yes, and it also meant that Techeetah copped quite a large fine for modifying the pit stop.
Hey, they still kept the win, so that's all that matters.
Did
they kept the win. That's all that matters. Yeah, exactly. Yes, it was quite close at the end, actually. Between Verne, Lotterer, Brahimi, Rosenqvist and Bird. It was...
absolutely
the top 6 were all in a train, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. 5. No, Piquet was very much in sight at that point.
Piquet had caught them at the end, yeah.
So because, of course, Lotterer was going quicker than Verne. Verne was holding up the big chain. So you had first Verne, second Lotterer, third... Was it third? Bird is the third.
Buemi.
Oh, Buemi, not Bird. Okay, and then it was.
Bird is not the word there.
No Bird.
Word for 5th place.
Who was 4th? And
Felix Rosenqvist.
Rosenqvist,
Started
that's the one.
Started
From
the back and
from
vaulted his
14th
way
on
to
the grid.
fourth.
Yeah, very impressive. From
Yep.
14th on the grid.
We've mentioned 5th and 6th place. 7th was the other Jaguar, Mitch Evans. 8th was the lone remaining Dragon Racing entry for Jerome D'Ambrosio.
Only because Jose Maria Lopez bottled it in the very first lap. Because he's an
He was
idiot.
hit, in fairness.
Whatever. He went on the outside of a turn where clearly everyone could see he shouldn't belong, but he went there anyway.
Lol. Antonio Felix da Costa came 9th for MS and AD Andretti Racing. Andretti Autosport.
World's
Wait,
longest title,
Andretti.
that makes no sense.
Yes, we're just going to call him Andretti from now on. And in 10th place was one Mr. Nicolas Prost. Nicolas Prost.
Ah, Nicolas Prost, yes.
Yes. 11th place was t'other Andretti car of Tom Blomqvist.
You don't need to mention the others. They didn't score any points.
Notable retirements. Alex Lynn looked quick. Shame about the gearbox.
I will bring your attention to the one guy who... Yes, there you go.
Yes, Lucas Di Grassi had his usual mixture of good speed.
So this time both Audis fell out of the race.
Yes, their usual mixture of good speed and absolutely woeful luck meant that Di Grassi still hasn't actually scored a point this season.
Goodness gracious.
And would probably quite like to in Mexico.
Well, he won there last year, so...
Yes, he won from 15th. Cracking race. Nick Heifeld was the other retirement race as well. So, yeah, it was a very good race.
Alex Lynn, Nick Heifeld, Lucas Di Grassi, Daniel Abt, Maria Lopez, and Marango, yes.
Yeah, I mentioned the gearbox issue for Alex Lynn.
Yes. Jean-Eric Verne scored pole, so he got 3 bonus points. And Sam Bird got the fastest lap, so he got a point.
Yes, it meant that Techeetah came very, very close to locking out all from the weekend.
Very close, yes, but Sam Bird was on a charge at the end, setting the fastest lap on lap 30.
Yes.
Yes. He did that perfectly, ladies and gentlemen. He spoke and then he coughed after he was done.
Yes.
I must say, there was a problem with the communications between the Techeetah pit wall and the cars. In fact, apparently they lost all internet and TV.
For everyone, yes.
Yeah, well, I assumed it was just Techeetah because otherwise, why didn't the commentators lose all communicate? But anyway,
the TV booth and the TV area, the TV compound is the word I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
They all had power and internet, but the teams did not have any.
Yeah, no TV or internet. It all went out, and as a result,
the teams lost it, and so no one knew what was happening.
Jack Nichols was saying on commentary, which I found quite funny. He had teams texting him like, "What's going on? What's happening in the race? Are our cars still running?" Things like that, which I find
is quite funny, yeah.
Rather funny,
and also
yeah.
rather worrying.
Yes.
They went back to the 1950s. They're going, we can't see our cars. What's happening?
Well, I tell you what,
you know what they need to make it all go all the way back then? Field telephones.
Well, they almost had that situation.
In one of the earliest Monaco Grand Prix, I think it was Monaco anyway, Murray Walker lost his TV, and he had to phone someone and ask them to tell him what they were seeing, basically. Which is
that's brilliant.
Which is quite funny, but he did it. What I was going to say is that if the Techeetah team had not lost their communications, do you think their drivers would have been allowed to race like that? I'd say no.
I'd say no, yeah. I was just going to say that. If they could see what was happening, they would probably go, hey, back it down, guys.
Especially seeing as they properly made contact, yes.
Yes, slightly, kinda. Maybe, possibly.
Slightly contact. They hit each other at least 3 times.
No, it was only once, but it was a rather big push. I really thought that Lotra was going to shove Verne straight into the barrier on the outside or send him down the escape road or something like that. I'm actually very surprised they managed to stay on the road, but thank goodness they did.
Yes. And now that that's done, the point standings have changed with the win for
Jean-Eric Verne?
He takes the lead in the Formula E Championship.
Yes, he does. I believe he's just slightly ahead of Felix Rosenqvist in the standings.
I think he's clear by 13.
Oh, crikey, that's more than I thought. Wow.
No, it's a much closer championship than that. We have... Oh, I just clicked on the World Endurance Championship. That's not going to help.
That would be the wrong one. Jean-Eric Verne is sitting on 71 points. Felix Rosenqvist is 66.
Yeah.
And Sam
So,
Bird is on
5 points
61. Yes. Something like that.
And the top 3 drivers after 4 races still separated by just 10 points, so it's anyone's game here at the front of the order. And don't discount Buemi. Buemi has had a real boost of speed in the last 2 races, and let's face it, he's Sebastian Buemi. So I really wouldn't be surprised to see, when the other drivers inevitably have off weekends towards the end of this year, I really wouldn't be surprised to see Sebastian Buemi right up the head of that championship field as the season progresses.
Yes, one can hope that the Renault Edams cars can score a win, because
they did.
It's rather odd to not see...
I tell you what, they did, because Techeetah is a Renault customer team.
Oh yes, that's not really Renault, is it?
No,
it's a Renault powered 1,
but
2, 3.
Yeah,
that's actually the first time that's happened as well.
It is.
I believe so. Yes.
And it shows that the Renault is capable of winning races. It's just that Renault needs to get their act together.
Sounds like F1 really. The Renault can win races. Fortunately, the Renault factory car can't. As of yet. Yes.
That does sound like F1.
Yes, very funny how they're kind of dovetailing each other now. Foreshadowing 2018, perhaps? I don't know, in F1. But, yeah. That is the Formula E comprehensively done. And now we move on to the saddest race of the weekend, which was the
race of
4
champions.
hours of Sepang.
Oh, yes, that. Yeah.
You were going to say the race of champions. That was good, I should point out. Rudy Van Buren did well in that.
Champions in it.
I will get to that later, after I'm done with my point about the Asian Le Mans series.
Yeah, go on.
The Asian Le Mans series was racing in Sepang for the 4 hours of Sepang, in which there were 15 cars, which is an improvement over the last race, which only had 12?
Or 13.
12, 13, something like that. It was down 2 or 3. But yeah, that moved to the Sepang International Circuit, to a crowd of mostly no one. Rather sadly. Yes, and the race was won, not surprisingly, by the Jackie Chan DC Racing. Jackie Chan DC Racing Oracle 05 Nissan. Oh dear, my page has...
It was the Harrison Newey, Stefan Rakelmi, and I believe Thomas Law.
Did you say Harrison Newey? Is that where he's gone?
Yes, he's won the title.
Oh, I didn't realise he was doing sports car racing now. The last I heard of him, he was in Formula 3.
He's gone to do something more important than Formula 3.
He's gone to do some proper racing.
Of course, he is the son of the very famous and very good Adrian Newey.
Let's see here. Who won the race? It doesn't tell me.
I did.
Oh, jeez, bear with me now, because this thing is not giving me a result here.
Oh, that's bad.
As Rob chokes his, coughs his lungs out there.
Yes.
Let's see here. I apologize for this interruption. There we go!
Hey!
Results finally loading here. The number 8 Jackie Chan DC Racing by Jodo Orco 5 Nissan of Stefan Rakelmi, Harrison Newey, and Thomas Laurent won the race. Yes, won the race, and as a result won the title as well in LMP2. Second was the number 37 BBT Ligier GSP2 Nissan of Anthony Liu, Davide Rizzo, and Pippo Durrani. Like a whole minute back, it wasn't even close. Third on the podium in LMP2 was the number 33 Eurasia Motorsport Ligier GSP2 Ligier GSP2 Nissan, not the new one, of Nabil Jeffrey, Marco Asmer, and Jake Parsons. The first LMP3 car was the number 6 Jackie Chan DC Racing by Joda, Ligier GSP3 Nissan of Guy Cosmo, Patrick Byrne, and Gabriel Abri. Second was the number 11 Taiwan Beer GH Motorsport, Ligier GSP3 Nissan of Hans Lin and Sean Thong. And rounding out the podium in LMP3 was, I think you could see a pattern here, a Ligier GSP3 Nissan.
Wow.
The number 1, a Win Motorsport car of William Locke, Richard Bradley, and Philippe Descombe. Winning a GT was the number 91 Fist Team AAI BMW M6 GT3 of Yunsan Chen, Jesse Krohn, and filling in for an absent Chaz Mostert, who was trying to win the Bathurst 12-hour, Marcus Paltala.
And breaking news,
Second,
our
hang on.
overlord, the leader of Toucans, hath joined us. Group chat on YouTube.
Jolly good. Hello,
He's in
Penta.
the voice chat. Second in GT was the team. Was the sister Fist Team AAI Ferrari 488 GT3 of. Oh dear lord, I'm not going to even pronounce these names.
God. Right, shall I have a go?
Sarun Surithon. Nope, I'm not going to do that.
Hold on.
There's
Can you
one name on there. It's Ollie Milroy.
I was going to say, so is there a chance you could send the... what PDF is that? Is it on the series website?
I will send it to you. Hang on.
Cheers.
So you can knock yourself out pronouncing ridiculous Thai names.
Oh, thank you very much.
Alrighty, thank you, Kazuo. Let's see if he can cough his way through this name here.
So we're looking for the GT, the second place GT car was the number 90 Fist Team AAI Ferrari 488 GT3 of Siri Forankul, Oli Milroy, and Burit Birombakadi.
Of course you could say those names. Yeah, of course you could. Anyway, that was
And the
second
other one
in
didn't finish.
GT, and the non-finishing GT car and the last GT car in the field was the number 18 KCMG, or not last. No, I'm sorry, I'm reading this wrong. Fuck me, man. The number 66 Tianchi Racing Team Audi RLMS GT was the Mitchell Gilbert, Weian Chen, and Massimiliano Weiser. All GT3 cars in GT, and the really heroic old Porsche 997 Cup car, one GT Cup being the only car in GT Cup. That being the number 77 Team NZ car for Graham Dowsett, Will Bamber, and Alif Hamadan, or Hamdan. That's a new name to me. That wasn't on the other entry. But this apparently will be the final race for that heroic car.
Venerable old car.
The Porsche Carrera Cup Asia winning car for one Mr. Earl Bamber. Yes, that car.
Yes.
Yes, but Jackie Chan DC Racing by Joda won LMP2. Won the LMP2 title. LMP3 went to the... I believe the Jackie Chan DC Racing car as well. Hang on, let me check here.
It was the Riquelme Laurent Newey car that won the title, I believe.
No, not LMP2, LMP3. That title went to the number 6, I think. I don't have the championship results here, so bear with me. Yes, the number 6. Jackie Chan DC Racing by Joda, Ligier SP3 won LMP3 title. So that was the driving crew of Guy Cosmo, Patrick Byrne, and Gabriel Aubry. GT. What? The GT class was the Fist Team AAI entries, of course. That was the number 91 BMW M63, missing Chaz Mostert, so he wasn't a driver's champion there.
It's too busy crashing M6s at Bathurst. Just the one,
Well, I didn't want to say that, but yeah. And as a result, those 3 entries have secured themselves a automatic entry to the 2018 24 Hours of Le Mans. But we will see. There you go. We will see if they take up their entry there. Well, if Jackie Chan DC Racing decides to have an extra car there is my real point. Because they have like 5.
Yes, there's an awful lot of automatic entries, methinks.
Well, specifically on that point of automatic entries, we have Porsche, which will not be taking up its entry because in LMP1 and overall for winning the race. Jackie Chan DC Racing will have 2 cars because they're entered in for the full super season, and they can only have 2 cars per license. We have Aston Martin Racing in GTE Pro for winning that one. They don't know what's going on with that one. GTEM has a winning has gone to the JMW Motorsports team and their automatic entries. European Le Mans Series auto entries have gone to G-Drive Racing and LMP2. United Autosports won LMP3, so they will have an automatic entry in LMP2. JMW Motorsport have received another auto entry for being GTE champions in either GTE Am or GTE Pro. GTE runners-up were TF Sport, so they have an automatic entry in either GTE Am or Pro. The Michelin Le Mans Cup champions in GT3 were EB Motors, so they have an entry in GTE Am. And there were no auto entries for LMP3 champions in Michelin Le Mans Cup. Of course, the IMSA Jim Truman Award winner was Mikhail Goikberg, so he gets an entry in LMP2 with JDC Miller Motorsports.
Quicksilver as well. Very Quicksilver graded driver.
Yes.
And a proper silver as well, like you mentioned, unlike some drive.
Speaking of proper silvers, we also have the second IMSA auto entry for Le Mans, which is Ben Keating and Risi Competizione going to GTE Am.
I thought he was a bronze.
Bronze, silver, he's still an Am, and he gets an Am entry to Le Mans.
Gets an Am entry.
Competizione, and
yeah, Bleak Molan's in it.
Yes, so it'll be a sneaky entry. And of course, the aforementioned Asian Le Mans champions have got a entry there. I have no idea what happens to the Jackie Chan DC Racing by Joda entry.
Probably goes to someone else, frankly.
Well, the 2 that they won in LMP3 and LMP2 probably will have to be entered under a different name. So expect another word salad jumble there if they keep their extra entries.
Well, it's like those pasta letters in tomato sauce.
Yes, alphabet soup there with their entries, extra entries anyway. But
Hell
Team
yeah.
AAI, or FIST Team AAI, will get 2 entries as they are both champions and runners-up in either GTE Pro or GTE Am. So out of all that, there are 10 to 11 auto entries likely, but we will not be seeing at least one because Porsche won't be taking theirs, as they're not there any longer. Yes, but the full entry list for both the Super Season and the European Le Mans Series and the 24 Hours of Le Mans will be unveiled on Friday, February 9th. So set your calendars for that. A bit of news. Very early in the morning for, well, everyone really. Well, is it? I don't actually know what time it is. I think it's in the afternoon in France. I'm not sure though. On Friday when they're unveiling everything. And everyone's gone quiet. Is it?
Wait, what's this? I heard something about France, and I don't know much about anything that's happening in France. What's going on?
I said that on Friday the auto entries, or not the auto entries, but on Friday the entries to ELMS WEC and Le Mans will be announced, and I have no idea what time it is
Oh, I don't either.
for the announcement, but I assume it'll be in the
Hold on.
afternoon in Paris.
I think I have a screenshot of it on my phone. I just need to find it.
What, you have a screenshot of Paris?
No,
Yeah.
when the announcement is. The WEC announcement is on the 9th at 1500 hours local time in Paris, which is 2 o'clock here in the UK, 9 o'clock on the East Coast in Miami, 1 a.m. the following day in Melbourne, 12 a.m. in Sao Paulo, and 11 p.m. in Tokyo.
I don't think we have listeners in all of those places.
Well, just on the
I'm
off
sorry,
chance we do.
You were saying you cut out for a bit. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Oh, so I was just saying, converting it to different
Yeah,
time zones.
the
So
time
it's-
zone of
sorry, do that
absolutely
again?
everywhere in the
It
world.
was 3 o'clock local time
Oh.
in France, which is 2 p.m. here in the UK, where
Right, so
myself
that's an
is.
ungodly time for me then.
Yeah, it's 9
Fantastic. That's about
a.m. in
3 a.m.
Miami. So I'm trying to work out 9 a.m. Miami.
Oh, it's
You're-
6 a.m. here, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not as bad as what I was thinking it was going to be.
I was expecting it to be like 4 or 3 in the morning. I was just saying,
In
oh,
fairness,
great.
I feel for those in Australia wanting to tune in, as it's actually 1 o'clock Saturday morning.
Well.
I suppose they're used to that in Australia.
Oh, wow, we have a lively bunch of people in the audience today.
I was just
Interesting.
about to say, just now, I think we reached double digits on the watching now for the very first time in the GTHub
What?
podcast
No,
live.
impossible.
How is this happening?
I believe we did. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh,
I think I saw it
Blimey.
go to 10. I wasn't really looking for long. But that was the first... If so, that's the first time that's happened since we've been going live. So, hello,
I'm being
everyone.
called leftovers in the chat. This is very, very rude.
Leftover Forza.
Oh, dear. Being called leftovers. Sloppy seconds I am, apparently. But moving past that insult, we shall go into
I was
some
going to say,
news.
leftover Forza, is that Forza Motorsport 5?
Yes, yeah, that's the leftover
Yeah,
Forza.
that's perfect,
Yes.
perfect analogy there, yes.
Yes, get in there.
But since we're on the subject of entries, I will allow you to do this news that you wanted to bring up, Rob, but
Yes.
only on the stipulation that you don't read out every single one of them.
I had no intention
Because
of
there
reading
are
them
no
out.
proper entries here, because
Yes,
there's no
it's-
numbers assigned to them.
It's the ADAC GT Meisterschaft, ADAC GT Masters.
I should have said stipulation is that you don't speak German, but that's too late.
Ja, meine Deutsche ist schlecht, ja.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yes, it's going to have a 37-car full season entry, which is pretty damn good going, actually, for a national GT3 series. It's going to be 8 different brands: Audi, BMW, Corvette, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Mercedes, Porsche, and rather interestingly, there's going to be a pair of Honda NSXs.
Honda NSXs, you say?
Yes, because it's Honda here in Europe. It's actually on the entry list.
What is
rather-
an Acura if not a Honda by another name?
Yes, it's interesting because it's actually listed as the team entering it on the entry list. It says Honda Racing.
I think that's a thinly veiled entry by a one.
JAS, perhaps?
Yes, JAS Motorsport. Yes,
Yes, the
because
team
they're
who-
the official supporters in Europe. Yeah.
Yeah, they also do the TCR touring car version of the Honda Civic. Type
Which,
R as
by the
well.
way, confirms that there are factory entries in GT3, regardless of what others say.
Yes, no
Because there's
doubt.
also GRT with 2 entries and Callaway with an entry.
Callaway is the only factory entry, though.
Oh, hello, Pensa.
Oh,
Hello.
guten Tag, Penta, was getabt?
Guten Tag.
What did I just say? I just said do not speak German.
Yes.
Du kannst mich nicht daran hindern, Deutsch zu
Oh, I've
sprechen.
lost control already.
Ja, das ist gut, ja.
Oh, I give up. Anyway, yes. I guess technically they're customers, but Are they really?
Factory-backed customers.
Yes, very much like of course, as a customer team of Ferrari. Yeah.
Although I would consider Callaway a factory team.
Callaway is a factory entry. Yes. So is GRT. Squadra Corsa Green. Anybody? Yes.
And orange.
Oh, they're orange this season. Yes, because they have
But I
Orange
don't-
One sponsorship. So
I
yeah.
don't think in GT Masters, I'm not sure.
Their
yes,
entry
it
is
is.
under Orange One by GRT, I believe.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, it's like they took over Lazarus.
Yes,
I don't
actually,
like-
there's two GRT Grass Racing Team entries, and then there's a sole third one that is Orange One by GRT Grass.
And a
So
pair
there are
of Team
actually three
Rosberg.
entries.
So probably 2 green ones and 1 orange and green one.
And
Yes.
2 unliveried as yet entries by Team Rosberg.
So what happens to Team Lazarus this year?
No idea, but the biggest shock for me is that after what happened last season, Zach Speed have returned.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Not with
interestingly enough, with a really long name, Team Zaxby BKK Mobile Oil Racing with
And a
2
pair of
Mercedes
Mercedes,
AMG
yes.
GT3s.
Oh,
yes.
I thought they weren't allowed to use Mercedes anymore.
Well, the name tells me everything I need to know, and the fact that they are doing this by themselves without any AMG support.
Yes, I just thought that I just thought that Mercedes were like, right, no more Mercedes for you.
Well, that's
That's
what
what
that
I think
means.
we all
Yes, they've
thought.
had to buy their own cars, is what this means.
Well, I
AMG
thought they were
won't
just
send
not
them
going
any
to.
factory money. is
I
what
just
this
thought they
means.
weren't going to have AMG sold. Nate, remind me again why they did split up with Mercedes in the first place. It was something due to cheating, wasn't it?
It was something to do with engine codes or something.
That's
with-
right.
on
They
Zaxby's
found
side.
some kind of weird stuff to do with the engine at an ADAC GT Masters race last year.
It was the final round at
Nürburgring.
No, it was
Hockenheim, wasn't it?
it was neither.
Hockenheim?
It was what's that
Or was
one
it the
called?
Sachsenring?
Sachsenring. That's the one I'm talking about. It was there, and they won the race by quite a long way. It was a 1-2, and then it was found that they'd used some sort of illegal engine components. Quite a lot, like pretty much everyone did at the Spa 24 in 2016. All of the Mercedes, anyway.
Yes. That was more to do with the mapping of the engines, though, at Spa
Yeah.
in 2015.
Also, 2018 makes a return of Car Collection Motorsports to GT Masters.
Oh, jolly good.
Yay!
Oh, okay, interesting. Also, there is a interesting addition. Of one team called Team Ring Police, which is the team being run by a YouTube celebrity in Germany, and one Mr. Lucas Lure.
Yes.
Lucas Lure, he who was relieved of his duties as a
By relieving himself, actually,
Yes,
ironically
indeed.
enough.
by relieving himself up the side of a petrol station after getting absolutely spannered at the IMSA end of season banquet a couple of years ago. Yes.
Nicely done to set up that joke, yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry,
JP
Atsu.
being one of the sponsors for Team Ring Police.
Yes, but that is the, well, not even an entry list for GT Masters. Well,
No, it's a half-assed
entry
attempt
list.
at an
Yes.
entry
For that
list,
one.
yeah. In other news, Gerard Nouveau is adamant that the WEC round at Sebring in the Super Season will go ahead as planned,
Rob, this
despite
isn't
increasing
news.
doubts of the logistics and feasibility, which everyone realised as soon as it was announced. Hold on, are you sure this?
Again, Rob, that's not news.
Yeah, I know.
This is sort of known already.
In other news, Renger van der Zande is going to be doing LMP1 in WEC for Dragon Speed.
Jolly good. That's going to be something to look out for. He's very quick.
He's a very busy boy, Mr. Van der Zande, with also being a full-time driver in IMSA for the number 10 Konica Minolta
Yes.
car.
And more American news, which I just put in the podcast
yeah,
chat.
actually
We'll get to
finished.
that on a bit. More WC news first.
Because the lineup
I thought
features
that was it.
Henrik Hedman as well as Ben Hanley, and Hedman, it's been announced, will be allowed by the FIA to participate in LMP1, but instead of upgrading him to a silver, they're giving him permission to compete in LMP1 based on his sufficient experience and performance in LMP2. And Vincent Beaumesnil, the sporting director at the Automobile Club de l'Ouest, revealed exceptions can be made to driver lineups, and I quote, on a case-by-case basis.
Right, okay. So we think the other one's probably just Roman Rusinov again.
Roman
As
Rusinov
it
being
usually
Roman
is.
Rusinov, yes.
Yes. Anyway, with that done, Rebellion has announced its new car, which is an Orica chassis, which will be called the Rebellion R13, and it will be powered by a Gibson V8 engine.
Yes, it's going to be incredibly loud if it's anything P2 engine.
It'll be more annoyingly loud because it's a LMP1 tuned up version of said LMP2 engine.
Yes, 4.5 litres, lots of power, lots of noise.
And it's yet again another Orica Gibson. Hooray!
Yeah. Oh,
That
God, I can't
makes
do that.
only about 9 or 10 of them on the grid.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Hooray.
Yeah, that was very in sync. Well done, people.
Oh, was that? I think I had a fourth
Hooray.
voice.
Hooray! Sorry, Josh.
Hooray. Sorry.
Go on.
Okay.
Everyone's silent now. Sorry, what were you saying, Josh?
I said I thought I heard a fourth voice, and indeed I did. There is a Dukin here. Hello, Dukin.
Yes, Penta has been here for some time. Have you
Yes.
not been paying attention?
No.
I really haven't today. I'm just not with it. Apologies.
Well, apparently
Oh.
not. Anyway, on the IndyCar front, since we're in the news section of this
Oh,
show,
those cars look good.
I will point out that IndyCar has just this past Friday unveiled a wonderful safety device that harkens back to the
What F1 should have done.
Yes.
well, yes, and also the fact that it harkens back to the look of how some Indy cars used to look like.
Yes, back in the 50s, I believe. Maybe, I
And
think earlier than that.
this is the windscreen that they will be testing this next week at Phoenix, with rain testing and glare testing under the lights at the newly renamed ISM Raceway at Phoenix, and the newly repaved and reconfigured track there. But the windscreen is made out of aerospace applications that you will find in windshields and cabin windows, and also jet fighter canopies. So there's no question it is durable and it will withstand impacts, from what I
In
can tell.
theory.
In theory, yes, but that's why they need to test it. But IndyCar being
device.
very sensible about their safety devices there.
And of course, in
sorry, go on.
the wake of a horrible accident that could well have been prevented, which was Justin Wilson's at Pocono in 2015. So
Could it
IndyCar,
have been prevented, though?
yes, it definitely could have been. That was a very
It was a freak accident.
Well, no, Justin Wilson's accident very well might have been prevented by this said windscreen, because the object bounced off of a car. So if it had bounced off of the windscreen, it would have deflected over and it wouldn't have gone probably and hit his head, which is what
I see. I stand corrected there.
with Justin Wilson. However, the other incidents with Dan Weldon and others, I'm not sure that would have been prevented because that was a fence. But maybe it would have actually, maybe it would have saved him. I don't know. Fences are fickle things, and well, the only way you can test things is by launching them into fencing to figure out what happens, really.
Yes.
But yeah, even if it saves one person, it's a good invention in my books. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course.
we shall see what it does. But yes, F1, take a note.
Yes. In other news, Billy Munger has completed a test with Carlin today. That's Tuesday.
How have you hijacked my news segment with Billy Munger? I was talking about IndyCar.
There,
Oh,
there.
so that's the
Before we
next
go
news
on to
item I
that,
had.
there is one more piece of IndyCar news,
sorry.
which is that Pietro
Well, there's lots
Fittipaldi.
of IndyCar news. Yes,
Well,
but
one more
yeah.
piece that I've found is that Pietro Fittipaldi has confirmed an entry with Del Coin Racing to the Indy 500 next year, which will bring which will bring the Fittipaldi name back into the Indy 500. Of course, his grandfather Emerson Fittipaldi raced successfully, I believe, in the Indy 500 back in the, I think it was 80s and 90s. Let's see. I'm just going to get up his Indy 500 results here. Yeah, 80s and 90s. Yeah, won it twice, 89 and 93. So
Orange juice.
Still sacrilegious to do so at the Indy 500. The only man to not drink milk at the Indy 500.
So yeah, but still, Fittipaldi back to IndyCar,
Yes,
but this
but-
time with Pietro Fittipaldi.
Yes, also a 7-race deal, actually, with what is now known as Dale Coyne Racing with Jimmy Vasser. Actually, no, sorry. Dale Coyne Racing with Vasser Sullivan, and bringing with it a new look for the 18 of one Seabass Sebastian Bourdais, which is very OSHA approved for those of us in America who know what that is. It's a very good-looking car, but yes, Jimmy Vasser and James Sully Sullivan are back to being IndyCar team owners with Dale Coyne, giving them some much-needed money. And I shall send the picture to Josh so he can put on screen for people. Hang on.
Okay. Yeah, I see it coming in now.
There we go.
Right. That looks nice. Oh, I'm getting a sneak
That's what I
preview
said.
of what you're about to see
That's
on
why
the.
I said OSHA approved there. Wait a minute, and you'll see it right now.
Yeah, there it is.
For the benefit of those of us who are not from the United States of America, Forza, what exactly is OSHA again?
There we go. Very much OSHA approved for those of us who are American. But OSHA is the Occupational Safety Health Administration.
Right, thank you.
Which is very, very something you Brits would know very well, being health and safety conscious and all. But yes.
Well, I was going to say, you do realise in Southampton that waiting for the traffic lights to go green is merely optional.
Yeah,
In terms of way you turn
It's a
crossing the road for
suggestion.
pedestrian.
it was
Is this just a suggestion? Most people just go across while the red pedestrian light is lit up still. The
But
gap's big enough.
also, the final bit of IndyCar news is that Team RLL, which is
Who's
otherwise
using the
known,
lighter?
that would be you.
No,
which
mine's
is
on the other
Rahal-
side of my room.
Will be me.
Oh, never mind then.
Penta being Rob and Rob being Penta today. Anyway, the Rahal Letterman Lanigan team has announced a multi-year sponsorship deal with Total, which will include Total Quartz being the team's official lubricant partner. And it is a very lovely looking thing as well. So very positive news coming out of IndyCar. Also the announcement just this morning of a new partnership for Scott Dixon to finally stop having a nude car, which meaning white. Care to guess the sponsor there, Rob?
Sorry?
Said care to guess the sponsor for Scott Dixon's car this year, Rob? No?
I can have a guess.
Not NTT
Go on.
data.
Judging
No, that's on the 10.
Judging by his flight at Indianapolis last year, I can imagine he's attracted the attention of American Airlines.
No,
Delta.
you're not going to get it. So
I'm joking.
I will just say it is PNC Bank who will be sponsoring one Mr. Scott Dixon this season, and it is a very lovely looking car.
They got a very good brand ambassador there as well.
Oh yes, but apparently they have a long history with Chip Ganassi, being in the team and giving him lots of hand. And let me see here.
Oh my.
I shall give this picture as well to Josh so he can put it up because
Okie
it's
dokie.
also a very lovely looking car.
Here comes some more very unprofessional hassle. Let's do it.
Unprofessional. It's very professional.
That's fine.
I'm giving the listeners what they want.
Ooh, that's nice.
I'm just merely doing what the good people of this podcast want.
There it is. You'll see it on the stream in a minute for the people in the podcast. We've got 12 people watching.
We've got 12 people here.
Look at that. Jolly
Dun,
good.
dun, 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 dun. Yay.
There we go. Look at that. Lovely bit of color.
Looks nice.
And I thought it's very much a GTHub car, yes.
It does look very GTHub-ish,
nice.
yeah.
I didn't say that, it was Stuff and More who said that, but yes. PNC Bank will now be the sole sponsor of the number 9 car, so that car will no longer be white, and now it will be the PNC Bank Chip Ganassi Racing Honda for 2018. Yes. Excellent. But now that caps off all the IndyCar news besides the IndyCar's public testing at Sonoma yesterday.
Which was delayed.
Yeah, but I'm not going to mention why.
I'm not either.
It apparently involves some sheep, but that's all I'm going to say. Yes, moving past that, we had something else to talk about. Well, at least I think Josh did, because I can't be bothered about it.
I did have one last news story.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Okay.
Yeah, Billy Munger. He was testing in British F3 car today for Carlin.
Jolly good. Of course, Billy Munger being the very famous teenager now who lost both his legs back in April last year in a Formula 4 race at Donington. And he's been doing everything he possibly can to get back behind the wheel of a car. So very good from him there.
Oh, Penta has something to say. Go on, Penta.
Well, just finish your story, so I'll talk last.
All right. Sorry. I think Josh might have been done, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that was the end of that story.
All right.
So is it time for me to talk?
Yeah, go on.
Yes,
Have a
go
waffle.
on. You've been building up your part all day, so go on.
Not really. I built this up in the last 5 minutes.
Just spit it out.
Going back to GT Masters news, because I don't know if you touched on the topic as much as you should have, but HB Racing joined with the first Ferrari entry in GT Masters with a 488 GT3.
Oh, wow. First Ferrari in GT Masters. Brilliant.
Did I miss? Let me see. Did I miss?
I probably missed it.
Oh, well, I'm
sorry.
going to be...
The way they had it written, it was kind of just like, words. Like, yeah, but hang on here.
I'm certainly going to be following the GT Masters.
There is a Ferrari 488 GT3 there. How about that from HB Racing? Oh, they used to field Udacons last year.
Exactly.
Oh, so they just changed to another Italian brand. So that's almost every GT3 car represented, currently homologated.
Correct.
And GT Masters. Huh.
Except the Bentley.
I'm just going to...
Well, at this rate, I wouldn't be surprised if someone showed up with one.
Time will tell. Also, Team Rosberg joins with 2 Huracan GT3s this year, basically replacing HB Racing. And a second team running 2 BMWs M6 GT3, which are MSR GT Racing.
Oh yes, MRS switched from Nissan. Never mind, I lied when I said every GT3 homologated is running.
Oh yeah, you're correct. The Nissan is no longer represented.
Yeah, the Nissan is no longer there. So I've called myself a liar. Well done.
But I wouldn't be surprised if somebody returns with the 2018 one next season.
Yes, when customers begin to get them. Which I think, going back to a thread I mentioned last week, was that K-Pax would be running Bentleys. They are probably going to get the first customer chassis of the new 2018 Bentley Continental GT3. Yeah, because they're running 3 of them in PWC. So yes, moving past that note, there was another thing that I think someone was going to mention, but I cannot remember right now.
Do you mean on news stories or?
Yeah, we've done
Someone
all
had mentioned they wanted to bring up something else.
That was
Yes.
Josh, I think.
Yeah, the race of champions happened, and yes, I admit there weren't that many champions there, but I tell you what, I don't care. It was brilliant. I watched it intently. Reading out the lineup, we did have for Team Latin America Juan Pablo Montoya and Elio Castroneves. For Team Nordic, Tom Christensen and Petter Solberg. For Team Sim Racing All-Star, for the very first time we had
That's not a nation.
It's not really a legit.
Neither's the
See.
Nordic team. That was 2 different nations of Denmark and,
That's a
and
region
Norway.
of the world. You can't say sim racing's a nation.
No, well,
Yeah.
it's a region of
Not-
racing, if that makes sense. But
It's
anyway,
not a region of
it's
the world, so that's garbage.
it doesn't matter. They
What
can have their own
Forza
team,
said-
and
what Forza said.
I don't care because look at the lineup. We have Enzo Benito, who is a
You
very
just
good.
want to bring up the sim racer. That's all you
A,
want.
a very good sim racer who many people respect,
Oh Jesus,
as
Rob is dying.
Rob is being very rude. And
I
then
think he's actually just dying.
I know, and then alongside him,
I know.
Rudy Van Buren. And I tell you what, I knew Rudy Van Buren before he was famous. He's just brilliant.
Oh
Uh,
God! Hashtag Josh hipster.
Hashtag
Oh,
hits.
jeez.
He's of course from the GPVWC,
I
which
thought you were going to say he was from the
Oh,
Netherlands.
look, another plug for Josh. Yes, well done.
which I was
He's
part
from
of,
the
and
Netherlands, dear listener.
I'm still going to be commentating on this year, so please tune in there. Anyway, and
What
he
if I'm
won that.
actually in uni studying at the time in a lecture?
Who cares?
Can't.
So
I do because I'd quite like a degree.
he won that quite considerably this year. He also won the
bloody hell.
GPVWC ITC Championship, and then went on
Josh,
even more famously
Yes?
to win the world's fastest gamer competition.
Josh.
No,
Thank
so
you. That's what I was going to say. Can
And
you get
that's
to
the
the
end of the
point
Race
of
of
why
Champions
he's
League.
famous?
and therefore,
And
Yeah.
therefore, he happens to be quite good at playing a video game, whether or not this correlates into
Right,
real
right.
but he
life.
does.
Stop,
But he
stop.
does.
Yeah.
Hold on.
No,
Hold
stop,
on.
both of
It
you.
does
Now,
correlate into real
please,
life.
Let me say something so you can get this
I
organized.
haven't finished.
Both of you.
Ugh.
I'm trying to get you to finish.
Both of you stop for 1 second, please.
Right.
Rob, if you're going to cough, mute yourself before you cough, first of all. Secondly, Josh, if you're going to mention him, please explain what he won and why that's important, first of all.
Okay.
And-
right.
Thank you. That's
So-
all I want to say, because it's just a jumbled mess of nonsense at this point. So
Right.
please,
Yes, I
Me
understand.
explain the
So,
McLaren thing.
at the end of 2017, McLaren launched a competition called World's Fastest Gamer to find World's Fastest Gamer, and as a result, they launched they launched this championship, and several brilliant sim racers turned up, and several even more brilliant sim racers got through to the semi-finals, and then they went to the McLaren Technology Centre and blah blah blah. There was a lot of sorting out that McLaren did, and in the end they came up with 3 finalists, Rudy Van Buren being one of them, and he went on to win it and become McLaren's actual test driver, and he also, as a result, got a drive in the Race of Champions, and I must say did brilliantly. I tell you what, he of course wasn't quite as quick as some of the professionals, but you would expect that. Although he was very, very close. I think in his first race against Tom Christensen, he lost by about 0.4 of a second. And it was Tony Kanaan he lost to by about 0.4 of a second, and then went on to lose to Tom Christensen by about 0.2 of a second, and then beat both F3 drivers. First, Joel Eriksson, who crashed well against him. So, to be honest, that didn't
Wait,
really...
there were F3 drivers in this field. What did they win?
F3. So Joel Eriksson crashed against Rudy Van Buren, and therefore Van Buren won that one. And then also Lando Norris. He actually beat very fair and squarely, which I think is completely ironic, seeing as Lando Norris is McLaren's actual test driver, and Rudy Van Buren is their simulator driver. So I think they've hired the wrong driver there. But anyway, Also going further down the Race of Champions lineup, we had Team United Kingdom with David Coulthard and Lando Norris, who I've already mentioned.
David Coulthard's not a champion. Neither is Lando Norris.
Could have been. Lando Norris won the British European F3 Championship this year.
That's not a championship. Oh, never mind.
Yes, it is.
Not a major championship, but move on.
From the United States, we had Joseph Newgarden and Ryan Hunter-Reay, who are less of champions than Lando Norris.
Drivers.
Lando Norris isn't a proper champion.
Yes, he is.
IndyCar is more prestigious than FIA Formula 3.
Yeah, but they haven't won it in years.
As is the Indy 500.
Saudi Arabia.
Joseph Newgarden won it in 2016 or 17.
Okay, ignore me. Yes, he did. He won it in 17. Saudi Arabia had Yazid Al-Raji from the World Rally Championship.
That is the biggest insult to anything. It's in Saudi Arabia. Has a history of not having any racing there.
Well,
first of all,
they need to have a local
team. They don't have to have a local team. He's not a champion.
Well, they should do it. It's called the Race of Champions. That doesn't mean it has to only contain champions, because then we'd only really have about 2 or 3 people who actually bother to turn up. Then we've got, also in Saudi Arabia, Ahmed bin Kanan, who apparently has done pretty much nothing. From Lebanon, we had...
So you admit he's useless, then?
Yeah, him. From Lebanon, we have Karl Massad, who was running at the back of the F4 British Championship this year, alongside Mansour Chebli, who I've never heard of. From the United Arab Emirates. You lot, shut up.
Why?
We had Khaled Al-Kabaisi and Khaled Al-Qasimi, so 2 Khaleds but spelled differently.
Kind of champions.
Yeah. From Germany, we had Timo Bernhard and René Rast, and you can't argue with those two.
And a champion.
From Sweden, Johan Kristoffersson and Joel Eriksson. And from Mexico...
Kristoffersson's a champion.
And from Mexico, Mimo Rojas and Abraham Calderon.
A proper champion. Who?
Abraham Calderon.
Again, who?
Abraham Calderon. From the NASCAR Peak Mexico.
You can't just bring up his name. Oh, is he a champion?
Possibly. Let me click on his name and check.
Because he's obviously a NASCAR driver.
He's won 1 race.
Okay, so he's just some random Mexican driver they found to race there. Okay.
Pretty much.
Dude.
Out of all the Mexicans they could have picked, they picked
Adrian
the
Fernandez,
Ricardo Santos.
And at the end of those, the group stages were won by Montoya,
you're gonna go through the whole goddamn
Hunter-Reay, and the rest of them.
Kill me.
And then there were some random knockout stages and things like that. And in the end,
Germany won then won the Nations Cup. And
yeah,
some guy who's not a champion won Race of Champions, which was David Coulthard. There, I've summarized it for you.
Great. And then at the end of all of that, in the knockout stage, there was a final between Solberg and Coulthard came out victorious. The end! You lot have no patience!
No, I have no patience for pointless things like the Race of Champions. Going to somewhere where they don't belong. They should have kept it in Miami. Jesus.
Yeah, Miami looks pretty cool in fairness.
They had a proper field there and a proper track. God.
Yeah, Miami looks pretty lit, to be honest.
I don't care who was racing. That was just... it was exciting.
It was also idiotic for them to schedule it during a time when proper races were happening.
Yeah, that was a bit silly.
This weekend when nothing was happening.
Yeah, that was a bit silly.
Then actual people would have turned up. Honestly. But apparently you made Alan happy, so there you go.
Yes!
Alan, that one's for you.
Alan was waiting for the Race of Champions results. Brilliant. I've done... I've done something.
Person.
Yes.
The only person.
Yes, the only person
I was.
Given Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, the land of motorsport and human rights. Oh, wait. Anyway.
Okay, right, on from that topic, come on.
Excellent, I finally killed it.
I thought we were done.
Yeah, you really have killed it.
I've finally killed the topic. Anyway, that was that. there was one other thing that we needed to mention, I think, that you brought up.
What's going on this weekend?
No, there's nothing happening this weekend. That's all.
Yeah, you're right. There is absolutely no weekend.
Other than one good race, which is the ARCA race from Daytona. Because the rest
ARCA,
is
is
just
that like
NASCAR.
even worse handling, even less powerful?
No,
middle
ARCA
tier
is
NASCAR.
No, ARCA is basically junior NASCAR, except it doesn't have stage racing, so therefore it's better NASCAR.
Better NASCAR, yeah.
Yes, NASCAR, but better. Hashtag make NASCAR great again.
Oh,
Hashtag.
please don't even use those words in a hashtag or in a sentence. Otherwise,
yes,
I might have to
that is-
just strangle you.
That is just
Literally.
stereotypical of NASCAR, though. In fairness, though.
Oh, please don't
Not playing
mention.
them stereotypes.
Don't mention that, please. Please don't mention that.
Okay, I will not mention that.
Anyway, now there was actually something you mentioned, but now I cannot remember. Damn you. Damn you. Okay, Josh, we won't do that again. Just don't bring up pointless subjects, and we won't do it again.
I discussed it before, and you said it was fine. But anyway, carry on.
I just wanted a quick summary. I didn't want you to run down the whole freaking entry list thing. Anyway, yeah, I can't remember what it was. Oh, that's what it was. It was this weird report coming out about supposedly DTM throwing their last Hail Mary. Because
That's one way of putting it, and that's a very optimistic way of putting it.
Oh, well, I don't know what other way to put it, because their one thing that would work is kind of just going, well, Super GT might not want to take us, so let's just grovel to some place that has manufacturer entries. Oh, I know. Let's get GTEs to run in our failing series.
Yay,
Oh,
to another GTE series.
Which is probably a good idea, but I'm not sure that the ACO is going to allow some other series to go, oh yeah, take our cars from us. Yeah, we want to do that.
I was going to say, there are a couple of things here. One, I think the Japanese are actually starting to get a bit annoyed with the indecision of the
Germans,
DTM.
you mean?
The Germans, yes.
Austrians, technically.
Are they Austrians? I thought it was run by ITM or whatever.
Well, the
Gerhard
current...
Berger.
Yeah, Gerhard
And that
Berger
brings
is
me on to the other
Austrian.
point, and also
fair
Gerhard
enough.
Berger. Like, seriously? Seriously,
yeah.
mate?
Well, he ran single seaters, and so he figures why not DTM to the ground. So there you go.
Yeah, he
But
killed
yeah, the
British
Japanese are
F3.
starting to get skittish about the Germans and DTM, so they figure, let's go bother the French and see if they'll let us use GTEs, which probably isn't gonna happen either.
I was going to say, I mean, DTM, as we know, it's practically dead anyway, so...
It is dead. Next year, Mercedes is leaving.
This is going to be the last year of DTM, I reckon. I'm calling it now.
And I suspect the only reason why we're seeing GTE cars being brought up is because, like
They're
the
desperate.
picture from like the picture from Autosport indicates, this is probably being pushed by BMW, so they could run their GTEs somewhere other than in IMSA and in WEC.
And fail even more.
Well,
Yeah.
the only reason why the M8 is a stillborn project is because apparently halfway through someone went, no, you can't do that, sorry. So they had to start over with
hold on.
5 months progress
That
thrown in the
reminds
garbage.
me. I actually have here I brought it this morning in a shop
You
while I was
bought
down in
something?
Stafford. Yes, it's Race Car Engineering magazine, and it actually has M8 GTE on the front cover.
Jolly good.
Okay,
Yes,
what about
it is jolly good. It's a very fascinating article, actually. And if anyone is thinking of getting this month's Race Car Engineering, do. Just purely because it's also got the Mazda DPI and the
No.
unbelievably rubbish BRM.
The Mazda
H16.
RT24P, please.
Yes, that's the one. And the BRM H16 engine. And this was rubbish.
Anyway, is there
Yes.
are you getting to a point here?
Yes,
Or are you
BMW
just
works
talking
with the
right for
FIA. BMW works with the FIA in the early stages of development to produce a concept that would be acceptable to it in terms of BOP, but having lowered the car to the lowest possible level, it was then required that the car be raised slightly. It was not an innocuous decision. Rivals deliberately waited until the last minute and completely compromised all the aerodynamic work that had already been conducted on the car.
Ooh.
And to
Sounds
say Jens,
about right. Yeah.
and say Jens Marquardt was less than impressed is putting it quite mildly.
Well, yeah, I do remember him being extremely annoyed when being asked by IMSA Radio, going, "Oh, what's going on with the car?" And then he just said, "We had to scrap all of our work with like 5 months." 5 months of aero development gone because our car wasn't to someone's liking. Particularly, he said to 2 manufacturers' liking, but he wouldn't specify whom that was.
Would they be? I'm going to guess here. Let me think. Ford
Cannot possibly say, but maybe that might have been one of them.
and Porsche?
I wouldn't. No, I would not never ever think a German would outdo another German manufacturer. That
fair
would
enough.
be improbable. No.
What about Aston Martin? No, that wouldn't work. They're getting a brand new car this year. Ferrari?
Yeah, they get a new car. No, because Ferrari's still good. If anything, Ferrari have been screwed over by their own rules. So,
Yeah.
being penalized for having an efficient engine and then making everyone else even efficient, even though they're not naturally efficient.
To be honest, Chevrolet's probably wetting themselves. When's the new Chevrolet coming along?
Well, funny that you bring that up. The new Corvette C8 will probably be called the Zora and probably be mid-engine, which will probably come out later this year as a debut somewhere.
Oh, speaking of which, I've seen the new ZR1, the ZR1 testing at VIR.
ZR1.
ZR1.
It's American, therefore
It's a
ZR1.
Corvette,
I don't
therefore
care.
I have to pronounce it ZR1. It was testing at Virginia International Raceway, and they inadvertently broke the lap record there while
Ooh.
doing
No,
a
not
24-hour
inadvertently.
test.
They purposely broke the record there because the Ford GT
insurance
had
test?
just set the record there the week
Yes.
before or something like that.
It was a really short time beforehand, and
Well,
yeah,
don't-
they went out and broke the record a few days later, I think.
Well,
it
haven't
was.
IndyCars been there?
No,
For
this
those
is
that
on
don't
the this is
know,
on the
Vir-
Grand course, one of the I think
Yeah,
it's the
the
Grand
big,
East or
the
Grand
big
West.
course.
Ah, okay.
The
No, the
4
Grand
and a
Course
bit
is the
miles.
one using all of it. Yeah. But the Grand Course is basically America's version of, or America's Nürburgring.
Nordschleife.
Yeah, because
Nürburgring,
it's,
Nordschleife.
yes. Well, I don't. Well, technically, yeah. I guess it could be America's Nordschleife because
How long is it?
it's not as long, but it's very technical and tricky.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why I
it's
say that.
it's the
It's only
car's very rarely
4
at
and a bit
steady
miles
state.
long. The track's only 4 and a bit miles long, so it's not
But
quite
it's
as
just
long, but
good to
it's very technical.
It's good to
Lots
kind
of
of compare
corners,
lap
lots
times
of
from.
elevation.
Yes. But yeah, the Ford GT had just done the time there, and then Corvette said, "Oh, really? What a lovely time you have here." And then just said, "Oh, it seems we have the record now." Yeah, that's what they did.
Yeah.
But yes, that topic now covered with the respect and dignity it deserves, in my opinion, because it's a garbage idea in the first place. Because it's probably never ever going to happen. A GTE car running outside of ACO rules, and out of the ACO's control. And yeah, unless you guys have anything else, I think we're going to end quite early today.
Yes, I have nothing else to add other than the fact that I'm not feeling well.
Well, that's obvious every week, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Actually, I do.
Oh, you have something new, do you?
Yes, the FIM Moto E World Cup was announced today.
The who?
Is that
The,
an electric motorbike racing series?
Yeah, it's like Formula E, only with half the wheels.
Wow.
Oh, okay. So this is like the bikes
Except I
that
don't.
run. This is like the bikes that run in the Isle of Man TT e-bike race, right?
There's an
I
e-bike.
believe so. They're
class.
made by an
Yeah,
Italian
the Isle of
company.
Man. At the Isle of Man TT, there is the. Oh, so it's not like the Isle of Man TT then, because it's all spec. Boring.
Yeah, they're also
Oh, stop talking
Then-
about it then. If it's spec, I don't want to know.
5 10-lap races at European Motor GP circuits over the course of the season.
But they're all spec.
Yep, and each of
Then
the
what's
7
the point?
independent MotoGP teams will receive 2 bikes, and 4 bikes will be provided for Moto 2 and Moto 3 teams who want to enter. Which is actually, I think, is quite a good idea. Actually,
Who cares? It's spec. the last thing I want to see is another specs series. If I want to watch an electric motorbike series, I'll watch the Isle of Man TT ones, which are more interesting and actually technically open.
Yes, except quite a lot of people can't really watch the Isle of Man TT because it is blooming terrifying.
Well, watch the coverage and the highlights then. I don't know.
It's still
actually.
terrifying on the highlights, trust me,
honestly,
I've watched it.
I don't care about the highlights. Honestly, the thing I'm trying to get across is that the FIM, basically like the FIA, has decided that they will make an electric class for the thing that they're in charge of. FIM being in charge of motorcycles. But instead of opening up the rules to allow electric manufacturers to develop them, i.e. like MotoGP, they've decided that they're going to make Formula E specs on a spec bike for no reason at all. What is the point? Because I know of several manufacturers that run in the Isle of Man TT race, like Zero Electric Motorcycles and Aero and others, like ones that are built here in California, that would probably be very well liked to go running in another series.
Yes, all the bikes are made by the same Italian company as well, Energica.
Now,
right.
Is the series designed at kind of promoting electric technology, or is it designed for innovating electric technology? Because if it was the second option,
both at the same time,
because you can't really have one or the other.
You can have both.
They're going to design and deliver. NL, the series sponsor, are designing and delivering a smart charging device for the bikes, whereby specially designed battery-equipped mobile charger capable of fully charging the bike in less than half an hour will be connected to the NL smart e-mobility platform to optimize the charging process.
Well done. You've managed to read the press release there. Why is that important?
I have no idea, because it's wireless charging.
It doesn't. They're the same people who are involved in Formula E, and I don't. Yeah, NL's involved.
I thought that was Qualcomm.
Well, NL, Qualcomm's doing different things with the thing, but NL's a sponsor there. I think NL make the NL make the glycerin fuel for Formula E, I believe.
Ah, interesting.
Well, I think it's probably the wrong company, but oh well. No, they're involved in Formula E in some regard, but honestly, I'm bored of series becoming spec that are trying to promote e-mobility. Like, if you want to actually promote e-mobility, you have to actually make it relevant and open it up to series. Open up the series to manufacturers who want to spend money developing things and promoting them.
Which is what Formula E does.
No, Formula E is still spec in very much most of the regards. It should be more open.
The powertrains, I believe, are fairly
The powertrains are fairly open, but they're not as open as they should be. And the thing that I don't like with Formula E is that it's a great platform, and you could tell that because everyone's coming in and spending all the money, but it's not as open in terms of things that they still can do. Like, you can't change inverters, you can't change specific things, you can't do like aero work or whatever, and it's kind of just I don't know.
In that case, what about IndyCar?
Well, that's also the problem with IndyCar as well. That's my gripe with it. They don't have enough technical innovation with IndyCar either. The bodywork on an IndyCar is fine now because it looks awesome. More interesting and it looks awesome, but the engine is quite frankly dumb. Like, literally it is dumb. It's not smart at all. It's not relevant. The manufacturers who are there, being Honda and Chevrolet, have said, yeah, we don't even want to make more development on these engines. We're fine with how they are now. And there's no reason that there's no reason why that they should develop anything, because what's the point? They've already leveraged all their marketing and everyone kind of already knows it, so there's no point. And the new regs, they have to open it up to have some sort of hybridification or hybridization of things to make it more relevant to people. But you can't have that spec mentality and then still promote things. It doesn't go hand in hand easily. But then again, what do I know?
You see, what I was
Probably
going to say
nothing,
earlier is
actually.
that if you truly want to promote innovation, you need to make it kind of very open and the regulations to not be so closed. But if you do that, it tends to be that the series don't do well with the vast majority of audiences because people are just here for kind of close track
Well,
racing
what about the
and things like
WC?
that.
I present to you the WC model.
Well, that's a very different audience because with endurance racing, you need an audience who can kind of sit through a longer race and take in more kind of technical information. So the WEC is a very different style of racing to IndyCar, which just does feature length races, for example, or Formula E, which just does even shorter races than that, basically sprint races.
Well, I suppose, but it's all about promoting and developing things, which WC has done, which is shown with the fact that the LMP1 hybrids went leaps and bounds forward past what F1 was doing with their terms of their hybrid
Yeah, I agree.
hybrid packages, and what FE's done. The LMP1 hybrids are the most technically advanced race cars on the planet. They still are with the TS050 from Toyota, and that's proven by the fact that literally the battery pack from the Prius is being used in the TS050 hybrids, and that's being transferred into making better hybrid road cars. It's
think
literally. Sorry,
Sorry,
go on.
sorry, what were you saying?
No, it's literally a transfer of technology backwards and forwards, and it's by the fact that you can even see that by the fact they made that concept race car, road car thing at the Tokyo Auto Show. Yeah,
I
at
agree,
the
and
Tokyo Auto Salon.
I tell you what, you can immediately tell the difference between how F1 is doing it and how WEC is doing it when you talk to anyone about how the cars are. You ask them about LMP1 hybrids and they say, "Oh, they're brilliant, just amazing cars." And then you ask them about Formula One hybrids and they say they sound like poo and things like that. So you can tell the how well they've done it with the WEC.
I mean, with Super GT as well, you've got the APR prices. I think one of them. Am I right in thinking that one of them still uses the
Old
hybrid system
LMP1 engine.
from a Toyota Aqua, and the other uses the system from a Camry?
I can't remember.
That I don't know actually, but it possibly. I thought if the Prius was still using the pack out of the road car Prius, like the TS050 was.
It's either going to be from the Prius or the Camry. Probably the former.
Well, they're pretty much the same system anyway, so yeah.
One's a bit more powerful, I think. Delivers it
possibly,
over,
but
the other
it's
delivers it over.
almost essentially the same design, basically, in terms of its packaging and whatnot. But yeah, it's almost the same thing. But I don't know. It's just if you want development and you want promotion and you want to be straightforward with how you present forward-thinking technology, if you're a manufacturer, there are series that have done that and shown you the way to do it. You don't have to be spec and go, "Oh, look at us, we're being forward-thinking by making it boring and making it all the same." Because that's not how you innovate. You innovate by being different and allowing people to be different and having different ideas that actually are better than other ones. Because not every idea is going to work, but you at least have to try it to know which one's better. Because if you have the same package, you're just running around doing the same exact thing. It's not helping anything. But I guess we've wasted enough time talking about this.
Yes.
So on the closing of that debate, well, let me just check the comments here to see if we've missed anything, because apparently we've been berated by them all show long for saying things wrong and not mentioning things.
Yes, especially when oh god, what was I going to say? Yeah, especially when I started sprechen Sie Deutsch, yeah.
Well, no, that was just Penta, but yeah, that's what he's here for, to keep you in check and make sure you don't speak German. Something about touring cars that I don't know what it was. I'm sure they're going to mention what I missed right now. So say it.
What touring car racing news?
I don't know, something. Field is full, 26 confirmed cars.
It's WTCR,
Unannounced,
never mind.
WTCR is going to be good this year.
VW Golf TCR be driven by Rob Huff and Mehdi Banani for log racing. Alpha Julieta will also be in.
Maro Engel leaving DT. Focus on
Boots and
GT racing.
Ginion. Boots and Ginion confirmed they are entering with 2 Hondas. Tom Coronel's been driving for them last season. Our Benelux. Wouldn't be surprised if Tom jumps on there. Still talking about WTCR, which is another pointless series that I don't
What?
want to mention.
What,
Yeah,
WTCR? Pointless.
It's not pointless in the fact that WTCC has finally become a TCR series. The pointless bit about it is the implementation of it and the fact that they do not allow factory entries and factory drivers into a factory series.
Yeah, that does seem a bit pointless. But apart
Yes.
from
That's
that,
the
it's going to
point
be a
that I
really
find
good year for it.
pointless. And also the entry cap is pointless.
Yeah. If you want to run 45 cars in a race, then
If
feel free
there's
to.
45 cars there and everyone turns up with their regional TCR cars, they should be allowed to do so. But they're capping it at 26 for some reason, which is a way too low of a number.
Anyway, in other news, Maro Engel.
Hang on. Still
Sorry.
scanning.
I was going to say,
Go
this
on
is
with your
touring
news though
cars.
while I do so.
Yeah, sure. Maro Engel has left the DTM to focus on Formula GT racing.
Sorry, what? Going...
Maro Engel's focusing on Formula GT racing and has quit DTM.
In other words, Mercedes paid him to do something else.
He
He's a
did take a win last year.
He's a Mercedes factory driver. They said, Morrow, you need to focus on our upcoming Formula E entry. Please go to Formula Racing and GT Racing.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what they did.
Yeah. And Dankeschön, Walter.
Yeah, but on that note, I think we're going to end now because we've covered enough things. And with Rob being corrected,
Deutsch, not Deutscher.
Rob being corrected, we're going to end. Hope you learned something, and
Hope you learned how not to speak German.
thank you for listening and watching. And we'll see you. See you next week with something. I don't know what yet, because there's no racing happening other than ARCA and some NASCAR. But yeah, goodbye.
Bye.
See you then.
Auf
Finally,
Wiedersehen.
bye.